Today, Fujifilm just added the INSTAX Mini 99. Hi everyone and welcome to Pal the Tech. This new Fujifilm camera is the INSTAX Mini 99. Before I go any further, I have to give you a quick disclaimer. Fujifilm did send this camera to me to test out and provide my thoughts. They had no involvement in the creation of this video, nor did they sponsor it, and they were not allowed to see this video until right now when it's been publicly released. They also did include this silver briefcase right here with the camera, but there really wasn't much of interest there. Inside the box, you get the camera, which is available in one color, black. This is a film camera, just like this old Soviet camera, from the 1950s, meaning that when you press down on the shutter release button and take a photo, light goes right through the lens and hits the film directly. The camera weighs 340 grams, not including the battery and the film pack. You also get instructions that is about the thickness of War and Peace, but don't worry, the section is about 4 pages because it's in every single language on Earth. Also included is a tripod mount holder for the camera. There's a black Instax camera strap, a short USB-A to C charging cord, a battery charger that you plug it into, and a single lithium-ion battery. It takes about an hour or so to go from an empty to a fully charged battery. Once it's fully charged, it'll allow you to shoot for about up to 10 film packs. Each film pack has 10 photos in it, so that would be 10 times 10. 100 photos. Something to be aware of is that you have to remove the battery from the camera and use the charger. There is no USB port on the camera itself where you could plug in a charging cable. The camera shoots in either horizontal or vertical mode, and therefore it has 2 shutter buttons. If you're holding the camera horizontally, the shutter button is right on the top where normal shutter buttons are. When you flip the camera vertically, the other button appears on the right side, just in the front like this. Also on the top of the camera are 2 dials. The left dial controls your color and lighting effects. Now for the colors, you can choose faded green, warm tone, light blue, soft magenta, and sepia. You can also add a light leak effect. And here's what's so interesting about this. Because it's an analog film camera, it's not using any kind of digital effect manipulation whatsoever. Instead, it controls these colors and adds the light leak by way of the 4 LED lights that are located underneath the film container inside the camera. The other dial on top allows you to adjust your exposure compensation. And they go from L+ to L to dot to D to D-, which is just a fancy way of saying when you crank it up to L, think of L for light, and you increase the brightness in your picture. When you bring it down to D or D-, you lower the bright. You know what? This bit wasn't working. By the way, the camera shoots in ISO 800. The right side of the camera has your tripod mount. You attach the included adapter, which acts like a handle. The left side is where your photos are printed. As soon as you take your shot, your photo is ejected right from the left side. It takes about 2 minutes for the print to fully develop where you see all of the colors and there's no hazy effect, fully done. You load your battery and your film in the back of the camera. For the film, just line up the yellow indicators and drop in the cartridge. You also have a viewfinder with an LCD display with 3 buttons above it. The mode button allows you to toggle various modes, and we'll get into those in a second. This button right here is your 10-second self-timer. And this one allows you to choose your flash options. It cycles between automatic, flash always on, red eye prevention, and flash completely off. On the front of the camera, you have the built-in flash, which has a range of up to 2.8 meters. Once you take a photo, and if the flash does go off, you need to wait about 6 seconds or so for that flash to charge up again before you can use it. The viewfinder is right above it, as well as that second shutter button. Now, the 60mm lens actually does a few things. First, it turns on and off the camera. If you do forget to turn off the camera, it'll automatically power off after 5 minutes. There's 3 focus distance choices: 0.3 meters to infinity, 0.6 meters to 0.3 meters, and a sort of macro setting of 0.6 meters down to 0.3 meters. And in fact, 0.3 meters, which is roughly about a foot for those of you in the United States, that is the minimum focusing distance of the camera. You also have a switch that's located right on the lens that allows you to add a vignetting effect. Here's what it looks like without vignetting, and here's what it looks like with vignetting. The camera's shutter ranges from 1/8 of a second to as fast as 1/400th of a second. You can use the mode button right here and choose indoor, which is designed for low light scenes, and that will slow down the camera's shutter. Double exposure allows you to take 2 shots with the camera, and then the camera will combine those 2 images into one. You can also put the camera into bulb mode, which will open up the shutter for up to 10 seconds. And you've got a sports mode that is designed to increase the shutter speed up to that maximum of 1/400th of a second. This then allows you more flexibility in shooting faster moving subjects. Does it actually shoot up to 1/400th of a second? And if it does, what is that going to do to freezing action? Let's take a look. Let's make sure we've got enough light on the experiment. There we go. What I'm going to attempt to do is drop 3 oranges into the water and see if I can freeze that action with the shutter on the action mode on this camera. 3, 2, 1. Well, have a look at this right here. Looks like the first attempt did freeze some of the water splashing. You see that right there. Are they what you would get with, say, a camera like this one? No, they're not. But it will get you a little bit of the way there. This is probably meant more for shooting kids, maybe running a little bit, or people that can't sit still, things like that. Not for something, like this. Let's talk image quality now. Obviously, with a camera like this, the emphasis is being able to print out in the moment your images and share them with friends and so forth. Basically capturing memories and having fun while doing it. Of course, any Instax camera model from Fujifilm can do this. The Instax Mini 99 is for those instant camera users that want to add more creativity and artistic style to their photos, like enabling faster shutter speeds to freeze motion or shoot double exposure, add vignetting, or lock open the shutter to get that bulb mode, as well as a number of analog color effects that you can add, and it's a great addition to these type of instant cameras. There's no dedicated app with the camera. Instead, Fujifilm has updated their INSTAX UP app, which now works with this camera. It's easy enough to use. You just lay your prints down on a table, or you could even hold them up, and you scan them into the app. Press the start button, and then hold your phone over the images, and it will highlight them in green. As soon as it does that, it will automatically scan them right into the app. From there, you can edit the images, change the backgrounds, manipulate exposure, add different looks, and so forth. And of course, now that your camera's photos have been saved to the photo album on your phone, you're free to share them, publish them, and so forth. The app also has a photo collage feature, which you can build custom digital albums with different looks and styles. Let's talk about some areas that I would like to see improved with future versions of this camera. Going like this, it was hard when I looked through the viewfinder, and I don't know if it's because of the way it's lined up or whatever, but wearing glasses with the viewfinder, I just kind of had to do this a little bit more often than I thought I would have to. I would love to see an option of a USB port that's on the camera itself so that the camera could be just plugged right into an outlet, because once you do that, you're charging the removable battery that's inside the camera. You wouldn't need to carry this proprietary charger, right, that comes with the camera when you're traveling. You just keep the battery in the camera, and then you could simply plug the camera directly into any common USB charging port. That would make traveling with the camera a little bit easier because you just have one less thing to have to carry around. Another suggestion has to do with the 2 dials on top. Look at how much space you've got there. So how about move the options that are on the mode button to this dial right here? That would actually make it a bit faster and easier to switch to the various modes instead of having to flip the camera over and try and look at the LCD screen. Another feature that I love on the camera, the bulb mode, I think would be made even better if it was combined with the self-timer. So instead of having to keep your finger on the shutter release button the entire time you're holding down that bulb button for up to 10 seconds, you could, for example, just engage the timer and then press the shutter once, and the camera will then stay open for 10 seconds and automatically close. That way there'd be no risk of shaking the camera, and plus you could get yourself in the shot if you wanted to do some creative thing with light, but you didn't want to then have to be limited to standing right next to the camera holding down the shutter release button, but could instead get into the scene. So I've reviewed a number of other Instax cameras and printers on this channel. The Instax Mini 99 has then taken it further with the built-in effects, not digital effects, built-in analog color effects, light leaks, vignetting. And so when you start combining those together, like choosing a specific color effect with vignetting and perhaps double exposure, you really do have more options to experiment right as you're taking the photos and get more creative with the Instax format. However, if you shoot a lot of selfies, okay, and you do not care about colors, filters, effects, being creative, any of that stuff, get the Evo Mini. And the reason I say that is because the Evo Mini also includes a mirror right on the front of the camera so that you can use it to see if you're in frame or with someone in frame when you're taking these selfies. The other thing to consider is your budget, okay? Because with these various light and color options that are on the camera, you need to do a lot of experimenting, okay? And keep in mind, you're dealing with real film, real photos, and these film packs can add up in cost if you're doing a lot of experimenting to mix and match and get exactly the right look that you want. So for those of you that are brand new to instant cameras in general, this is a great camera to start with and to use, and it has enough effects and things that you can do on it that I highly recommend it. Those people that already own, say, the X100VI, the X-T5, or the GFX 100, should you trade out those cameras to pick up one of these? I can't answer that. You know, before I go today, I did want to say a big thank you to those Backstage and YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your help with the channel. For those interested in what I'm talking about, go check out paldetech.com/backstage. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. And I'll see you in a new video next week. Take care. Okay, now I'm going to do the exact same test that I did before, only this time I'll drop the X100V in the water and see if that larger splash will make a difference. I'm kidding, Fuji. I am sending it back tomorrow to you, I promise. And you know what I'll even do? I'll even wipe off some of the water.